Hello YouTube, back here again with another camera. This time it's a Zorki 4. It's a Soviet era camera. This one happens to have been made in 1962. If you don't know, in most cases the first two digits of the serial number tell you the year of manufacture. In any case, what I came to talk about was the rangefinder on these. Now, I recently bought a Zorki 4. This is not it. This is my parts donor. Zorki 4, and it was in fabulous condition. Had a working shutter, and it looked really great. The only trouble it had, I found out, was the rangefinder didn't work. Now, there's a bunch of videos on how to adjust the rangefinder for your vertical and your horizontal. What I couldn't find was a video on what the story was with my particular camera. And in my case, you see this little tab in here? That's what makes the rangefinder work. As you screw in your lens, extending its focal length out to infinity, what it does is it pushes on this and makes the rangefinder, the two visions, come together depending on your distance. Mine, the one that I bought, you would push this in and it would stick. This one does not, obviously, but on mine you'd push it in and wherever you left it is where it would stay. And you could feel as you worked it, pulled it in and out, that it was gritty and grindy, and it felt like it had stripped gears, which it wouldn't have because it's not a geared system. But through some exploratory, I discovered something that might be of use to someone who has a similar problem. Very quickly, to get the top off of this, you have a screw in the front. You don't need to take this one out. This one is for an adjustment. You have, on this model, two screws in the back. The newer ones have one. You take this screw out of the film reel, and there's a screw in here, a big long screw. You take that out, and then this unscrews counterclockwise. You also have two tiny set screws here and here. You loosen those up. You don't need to take them out, just get them loose, and this will come off. There's a set screw in this thing here does not come off, but there's a set screw in the side. You loosen that up, and then your top comes off. In any case, what was happening was, this here is the cam that works when you push that. And I don't know if my resolution is good enough, but you see that cam working. That pushes on this arm right here, which is what makes your split image come together. What I found was when I took the top off of my good camera, one of the things I found was a ball bearing came out. And I had no idea where it went. I couldn't find anything on the internet, couldn't find anything on YouTube. But through some research I did, personal research, the problem was that this arm right here, was sticking up and going right over the top of that cam. And I set it back down in there. I worked it a few times. It came right up again. Long story short, I found that right here, what looks like it could be a screw is not. It's a ball bearing. And there's a ball bearing on top and there's a ball bearing underneath it. And that allows it to pivot and do its magic for the rangefinder. See how, I hope you can see how that works. But it pivots on those two ball bearings, upper and lower. You can't see the bottom one. That shiny thing, which I thought was a screw, is a ball bearing. I had to use this camera to figure that out. So again, moving right along, I had to take out these two screws. Now these are shellacked in, or varnished, or whatever it is they used in those days. I had a little drop of it on each screw. I had to scrape off that material, and then I was able to get one of my tiny screwdrivers on each screw. I took this one out, I loosened this one up, I was able to swing this is actually a piece of spring steel. I was able to swing this out of the way, and working with tweezers, I set this, I think it's a prism. Yeah, it's a prism in there. I set this prism gizmo back on its lower ball bearing. I reset the top bearing and then put the spring back over it. Screwed the thing down, and I didn't use varnish. What I did use, and I don't see it here right now, it doesn't matter. I used, oh here it is, some old nail polish of my wife's. Put a little dot on each screw to set it back down there. And you're going to need a loop. This is a little eyepiece that wraps around your head. I think it's a 10 power, which is adequate for what you're going to be doing. And that is pretty much the long and the short of it. It's the on the camera that I repaired, the view is still off a little bit. My vertical is not quite perfect, so I'm going to fix that up. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not going to bother going into any details. But if you have one of these or any other Soviet camera, number one rule is, before you adjust the shutter speed, make sure and wind the film until it stops. If you try to adjust the shutter speed before the film is wound, it's possible to do some damage in here, and also damage your curtain, your shutter curtain. Other than that, I've got a great camera. I'm looking very much forward to taking it out and seeing what it can do. The one I repaired is a 1970. It's nearly identical, except it has the silk screened Zorki name, Zorki 4 in English printing. It was an export model, which is kind of nice because the exports, so I've read, were somewhat better than the domestic models. In any case, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time.